What's going on, YouTube world and YouTube tribe? Welcome to LilBigMan Gaming, bringing you a review, as the title says, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The whole world is watching. Um, Man, this was a great episode. I'm not even gonna take too much time with this intro, so I'm gonna get through this. Um, if everybody can hit that like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification button. Also, let me know what you think about this episode down below, because we're definitely gonna talk about it. Because man, this episode. But also, if you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Become part of the tribe. Smash that subscribe button. Smash that like button. Let's smash both buttons actually. Just smash both of them. And just become part of the tribe, because the hottest, newest gaming slash media reviews, reactions, all that great stuff. You can find it right here on this channel. For those who are subscribing, the new subscribers alike, thank you, love you, appreciate you for allowing me to entertain you. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. Oh wow. Okay, you know how I like to do so this is the Falcon and Winter Soldier episode, which is 4. The whole world is watching. You know how I like to do. I'm gonna give you a synopsis, then we're gonna get into this. John Walker loses patience with Sam and Bucky as they learn more about Carly Morgenthau. That synopsis, I'm gonna tell you right now, does not even do this episode justice, because it's so much they hide in that synopsis. Because once you watch the episode, you're gonna be like, wow, yeah, that synopsis was not misleading, but it doesn't prepare you from the awesomeness that this show is taking right now. Oh man, I don't even know where to begin. I guess we begin in the beginning, right? Yeah. So the episode begins with the a flashback to 6 years ago. I almost was getting ready to get to something else, but then I realized, that was the beginning. Because it coincides with how last episode ended and this episode begins. So we flash back 6 years ago to Wakanda with Ayo and Bucky. And Ayo, we found out Ayo was one of the Dora Milaje put in charge of helping Bucky overcome his super soldier programming. And in this scene, it's basically like a test scene. It's like the test to see if his brainwashing has been completely purged from his mind. And Bucky's like, "Are you sure about this?" And he's like, she's like, "I won't let you hurt anyone." So she begins to speak in Russian, translate the code language to trigger and activate the Winter Soldier. And while she's doing it, you see the fear and sadness and anger on Bucky's face as he's praying in his mind. He's praying, he's hoping that he doesn't turn into the Winter Soldier and that he actually is free. And once he finishes, you see Bucky. He's like, he's bracing himself to see if he's about to turn. And also, I forgot to tell, while she reciting the code language, he's having flashbacks from Captain America, the Winter Soldier, Avengers, I'm gonna say the Avengers, but Captain America, Civil War, some of the Avengers stuff. He's having flashbacks as his time from being the Winter Soldier. He's also having flashbacks to when he killed Tony's parents. He's having all these flashbacks because in his mind, he's hoping that he doesn't turn. So that's when he realized she's done and he hasn't turned. He still is him. And she said, she tells him, "Congratulations, you're free." And for the first time in his life, Bucky could be Bucky again, and doesn't have to worry that somebody could come with the code language to to trigger him into being the Winter Soldier. So he's so ecstatic and happy that he breaks down and starts crying because he does. Like I said, he's no longer the Winter Soldier. That program, those words, the brainwashing, all that doesn't work on him anymore. That was the successful test run. So then we cut to the present with Ayo and Bucky where it left off from the previous last episode. And if you haven't watched the previous episode, I'm sorry I just told you that. Stop right here. Go watch the previous episode, watch this episode, and then come back for here. Because I won't be spoiling anything, but it's just certain stuff I have to say. Because if you're watching this, you should have seen at least if you haven't yet, you should have seen Power Broker and to understand what I mean by it picking up where it ended off. Because the whole world, this episode, once they get done with the flashback, it picks right back up for where it ended. Ayo is now scolding Bucky because she know Bucky helped free Zemo, and she's there because Bucky even says he knew once Zemo was free, it was only a matter of time for T'Challa sends the Dora Milaje to collect Zemo, because I'm guessing after T'Challa spared Zemo, the Dorje wanted justice for King T'Chaka's death, and once it was realized that it was Zemo who killed her and not Bucky, and T'Challa, he let them handle it for that point, but once he was free, I guess that was like forfeited his life to them, because like he's escaped your prison, we let y'all have him, but now he's gone. So she's scolding him for freeing him. And then the one thing I also want to mention too, that when you see this episode, there's the way how this, as I'm going to explain, it goes from light. I will let you know this. It goes from light to light dark, and when I mean by light dark, that's the mood, the tone, the things that happen. It goes from light. It goes from light to light dark. You got little sad moments there, that I would get into, and then they just go 100 to the end with just dark, and it just. Let me get to it. Let me set that mood for you so that if you haven't seen it, you go see it, you're gonna be like, oh, that's what he meant. Yeah, it got pretty brutally dark at the end. But yeah, so John Walker is play a part in this episode, and I also want to set up for the fact that if one of my previous videos I said that we see the cracks in John Walker's mental armor. We see the cracks in his mental, and in this episode we learn what that crack in the armor is. But yeah, so Bucky and set out to find Carly to stop her, and it comes into question whether or not would Sam or Bucky have, because Zemo's like, I have the fortitude and the courage to see this mission through, no matter what the cost, no matter what it takes. Do you guys have what it takes to also have what it takes to see this mission through to its end? So it comes into question: can Carly be saved, or do they have to go the other route and either kill her or, do something horrible? Do they have to go to the extreme to stop her, basically? And but yeah, they go on the hunt. They go on the hunt for Carly. They go question. They figure they go question. So they in the area where people will know Carly. They know Carly's in the area. but they don't know where to look for it. So they know that the person they remember from their encounter with the dude who made the serum that the person close to Carly had died. And so they realized, no, it sounds like when my aunt died, there was a whole the whole town gathered to pay respect and honor to her for the funeral and the memorial. So he realized they probably doing the same for Carly. So they run with that notion and then go question people, like I was about to say. And when they do question people, but Bucky and Sam did not get any answers. Nobody wants to help them because they think they don't trust Bucky and them. They think they're just part of the regime that messed them over anyway. But Zemo has luck. Zemo used his candies that he introduced. I forgot to tell you this to set this scene up. I'm so sorry. I forgot other Zemo when he was talking to Bucky about not Bucky but Sam about whether or not Carly could be saved, and that he sees something that is not, that in Zemo's eyes is not there because of how he feels about super soldiers. He talks about how super soldiers lead to the Nazis and wars, and then the Avengers, and they like, hey, that's our friends you're talking about, and then Bucky goes, yeah, the Avengers, not the Nazis. You know, because Zemo was basically he was trashing the Avengers almost in the same vein as the Nazis. And you see in Zemo that no matter what, his whole mission is that people like the super soldiers and the Avengers, he said they lead to a basically a destructible end. And he says that's why he doesn't want people like the Avengers and super soldiers to be around, because he believes that all they bring is chaos and destruction, even when it's with good intentions. And that he tells Sam that he could see it, that he wants to more than just arrest Carly or stop Carly, but he wants to save her, save her soul. And Zemo's like, it's probably already too late. It's probably whatever that you see in Carly is gone. Zemo already knows this, but Sam would do whatever he got to do because he sympathized with her, because he sympathized with her cause. He just doesn't like the way she's going about completing that cause, right? So they go question people, and like I said in that scene too, Zemo introduced some candy that his son used to love to Sam. And he said it's a delight, it's a Sokovian delight, I think he says, or something like that. And that candy is reintroduced when when they saw Zemo's turn to question people, because we see Sam question people and get nowhere. We see Bucky question people and get nowhere. And then we see Zemo. He sees like this little song to the kids and get them to come to him to get some candy. They a little hesitant because stranger danger, but they see that he means them no harm and that he only wants to know about Carly and where to find her. And the kids, they end up telling the one kid, the main kid, which is a girl, she ended up telling Zemo where exactly Carly was going to be and where to find her. So he makes a deal with them that, not to tell Bucky or Sam, because he claims they are bad men, and that this is a secret between us. So then he just walked past Bucky and Sam, just like kids, and then back at the that they went back. They go back to their little hideout and discuss what to do next, and they question Zemo about what the girl told him, and Zemo reluctantly tells them that Cardi was right, that Sam was right, that Cardi is about to have a funeral for this lady who helped her, and but he's withholding the information about how to get there because he know that Dora Milaje wants him. Because I forgot to mention that too. That Sam, Bucky did after his meeting with Ayo, he did reveal to both Sam and Zemo that the Dora Milaje are there, and they want Zemo. So they end up going. Zemo's holding the information hostage. This is where Sharon Carter comes back into play. But Sam contacted and see if she have any way to help them track, where Carter could be because Zemo is withholding the information, and she lets them know that she got a satellite or two that she could have access to help them out, and that all she wants is for him to find Carter because she knows it's about to be a war because the power broker, he's upset. The power broker, he comes back into play in this episode, and he's upset with the fact that he's desperate because the dude that knew how to make the super soldier serum, the only person who cracked the code to make it in serum, is dead, and now he wants Carter in the last bit of the vials. That comes into play in this episode. I won't get into it, but it does come into play. Because it's one of the great little things that happened in this episode. But I will say this. The vials come into play when it comes to John Walker, so keep that in mind. When they agree to help Zemo and go with his demands, they get ready to go meet the little girl so she can lead them to Carly. Sam tells Bucky and Zemo that when they find her, to let him go talk to her because he sympathized with her and he might be able to talk her down because that's his specialty. And this is when John Walker comes in. He's basically, this is where the part they say he loses. This is the start of him losing patience with them. He comes in. He's done waiting on them. He wants to know what they know, and they tell him that they got a lead on Carly, and he tells them the same thing. He's going to go talk into it, but John thinks it's a bad idea. But he reluctantly agrees himself. So they end up going to the little girl. She takes, and he tells them, Zemo tells her it's okay. So she takes all of them to where Carly's at, and they get a bucket. John handcuffs Zemo and tells him, look, you got 10 minutes to do it your way, and then after that, I'm coming in and doing it my way. And this point, I want you all to remember, at this point, after he says this to Sam, this is where we started to see the cracks fully play out. From here on to the end of the episode, we learn why these cracks are, and we see just him waiting, the impatience he had of him just waiting on Sam. We see that whatever he is more than just being impatient. It's something wrong with John in his head. Bucky noticing it, and Sam is starting to notice too. They even talk about it a little bit later in the episode. But Sam goes in after Carter gives the lady the eulogy, and while she's giving the eulogy, she knows that Sam is there. So she stays behind while everybody leaves because she knows Sam wants to talk. So they begin to talk. They do the usual banter. Oh, so you want me to stop because people are getting hurt? But have it ever occurred to you that I'm making the world a better place? That I'm making the world better? And Sam wisely tell her that you're not changing. You're not making the world better. You're just making it different. Like what you're doing doesn't change or make it better. It just make it different. And she said, then she laughs and said, you're either wise, you're either super wise or overly optimistic. And he said, well, can I be a little bit of both? And she said, no, you can't, either one or the other. They have a little banter, and it's like it's working. It's like Sam. It's like what it looked like. Sam is really getting through to her and talking her down and making her question whether she really is doing the right thing or not. Whether the lady who helped raise, we found out that lady it was like a den mother to a lot of people, and she helped a lot of people. and she, like I said, she was like a mother figure to a lot of people, and that's what she means to Cardi. She's like a mother that she never had. But even Sam says she might not want you to do this, and Cardi thinks about it like maybe he's right. But then John, in his impatience, he convinced Bucky that that Sam needs help, which he didn't, and he oversteps and ruins everything. And Cardi thinks it was just a setup to capture her. But Sam's like, no, wait. But from here on out, we're starting to see, when that she escaped. Zemo ends up escaping the handcuffs, shooting her, and she ended up dropping the bag of vials that had the super soldier serum. And I won't spoil what happens, but that just say one made an escape into the hands of someone with a shield, and he and then him and John. We cut to a scene with John and Lamar, and they talk about their time in Afghanistan and how if they had the super soldier serum when they was in Afghanistan, they could have saved so many people's lives. And he asked Lamar if he had the chance to take it, would he take it? He said, "Oh yeah, just for that purpose alone, the fact that if we had it back then, we could have saved so many people's lives." And we're starting to see these decisions weighing on John, and the cracks begin to show. And it's a specific reason why John asked Lamar these questions. But then they get another lead on Carly, because Cardi this is where it starts to get even more darker. Cardi ends up calling Sam's sister, threatening her and her children if Sam doesn't show up to the meeting spot to prove that he really is on her side. Sam is enraged. He goes to confront Carly, and he's like, "You really, my sister, really?" She said, "I would never hurt your sister or your nephews. I just wanted you to know. I just needed to see that you were truly on my side." He's trying to talk her down again, and he was like, she said, "I wouldn't want to kill you because killing you would be meaningless." It would. She points to the fact that, because even the conversation Cardi had with Sam's sister points to the fact that she said, because she questions like what side his sister's on, and she said, "I didn't choose John to be Captain America. We're not on his side." And that she said, "Well, who would you have chosen?" She's like, "If I would," she said, my word doesn't mean nothing to America, so why should I care about who they choose to be Captain America? If anything, she said, if you believe anything about Sam is not working for that man." She said, "Let's hope you're right." But, it all breaks down from here. Things get really dark from here. Once, Sam is confronting Carly, he didn't come along like she wanted him to, but she's still trying to convince him to join her side or step aside and let her go for the betterment of the world. But then, thanks to Agent Carter, Agent Carter, not Carter. I forgot her name already, but she comes back to play with her satellites, and she tells them that they've been tracking John, and he either found the Flash Masters or the Flash Masters found him, and he realized Cardi's true plan was to separate them. And from here, things go out of control. Lamar gets kidnapped. A fight ensures. Someone dies, and someone snaps. And I mean, and how all this scene plays out was so exciting. It was very exciting to the point where I almost watched the episode twice before doing this video, because I'm just like, holy shit. But that's all I got, because I don't want to spoil too much. But the episode does get dark. I give this episode 10 big ups because it makes me want to watch it again. Hell, I probably will after this video. I had no problems with this episode. This episode was great. It was dark, and we get to see that maybe some people shouldn't have been chosen to be a symbol of the American people. And if you watch this episode, you'll see what I mean. But as long as you hit this button right here for more of my great reviews, Hit this one button right here, this subscribe button, because the Tribal Chief demands it. And hit one of these great videos for more amazing content. Chief out.